Oh, so this is...
It's for the live streaming. So just to remind you, there's the etherpad where we're taking notes and questions for the discussion later.
It's not mobile, is it?
You can also find all of the information
I can't walk around with it.
The Twitter handle
Not
for
very
the streaming.
Okay, all right. I'll try not trip. Okay, can you hear?
I don't know. Just go ahead.
Okay, all right. So I usually walk around a lot, and I'll try not to trip over this. If I do trip, feel free to laugh because I want you guys to be entertained. All right, so I know that some people are behind those columns, so I'll try and move at least a little bit around here, okay? All right, hi, I'm Nicole Janz. I'm at the Sociology Department and the Social Sciences Research Methods Center, SSRMC. It's a very long name, where I teach postgraduate students. I'm also a political scientist and I work on globalization and human rights. So one of the most difficult courses that I teach at the SSRMC is a replication workshop. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. I also do some reproducibility-related projects. I write this blog, Political Science Replication blog. I'm at the Center of Open Science. I'm an ambassador there, which is a really nice title. I'm a local information source for transparency tools like, I don't know, GitHub or something like that. And I work with the Berkeley Initiative for Transparency in the Social Sciences, BITS. And we are thinking about bringing a summer school for reproducibility to Cambridge, where students can come and learn different things, how to work more transparently. So one of the main questions in the social sciences, I work with all social scientists at Cambridge, is how can we improve transparency and reproducibility? And I want to give you a teaching perspective. Now, let me start by reading a few emails to you, very short ones, that were a source of great frustration for me. I often try to get data from people to give them to my students to replicate or for myself to replicate. And these are typical answers that I get. Okay, hi Nicole, I only have some of my electronic files with me during this trip, and the material from my article is not, unfortunately, among them. However, I would be happy to collect them for you once I have access to the files. All the best. I never got those files. Okay. Nicole, I will definitely send the data, that's another email, when I can clean it up a little bit. Let me see what I can dig up. Never heard back. Okay, third and final email. Nicole, I would be more than happy to share my data with you. But right now I'm swamped and I don't have the time to clean up the data set that you requested. This person is always swamped because I've never ever heard back from them. Okay, I don't think that these are actually people committing fraud. I just think these are really busy people that have their data somewhere somewhere on their computer, and they just don't want to or can't take the time to make them into a format that they can give it to me. Okay. So these emails reflect the state of irreproducibility in the social sciences, and it's really annoying. A recent study found in political science that only 18 of 120 journals have a replication policy that requests the author to upload the data and the code. That's a big problem. That means that no one has an incentive to create replication files and upload them because you can get published anyways. And it also means that no one will be able to cross-check published work because if there's no data uploaded, how can you kind of replicate their study? It'll be pretty obscure what they actually did. Now, even if all research was online, if everything was open access and I could see all the data, all the code, there's little incentive to do a replication study because we all know journals want original work, and a lot of younger researchers think that if you replicate a study, you're just wasting your time. So no one really wants to do it. So that means much of the knowledge that we have today in the social sciences remains completely unchecked. We trust it somehow, but we don't know if it's true or not. So my main argument for today is that the two challenges of A, irreproducibility, and B, the scarcity of researchers willing to replicate, could be tackled to a change in university teaching. Of course, I'm saying that because I'm teaching a replication workshop, okay? So I think by teaching transparency tools like using Dataverse or GitHub, but also by asking students to replicate work, you can improve the overall perception and atmosphere in science, because these are the future researchers that we are teaching. Okay, so I'm supposed to be really fast. So let me give you a practical example of what we do in our class. Okay, the class is actually running today at 5 p.m. Just in a little while. Okay, so the replication workshop is an interdisciplinary workshop. We have about 15 to 20 students. By the time we get to the middle of the course, 5 at least have dropped out because replicating is no fun. They choose a paper in their field, download the data, and if they find the code, they download the code, and then they try in the first 4 weeks to duplicate exactly all the tables, all the figures. And then in the second half of the course, they try to improve the models, collect new data, update the data, use a different kind of measurement for a variable, and when they add value to a replication study, they can actually turn it into its own paper. So I have a few students, 5, 6, that have now actually published their replication studies in peer-reviewed journals in all kinds of fields: psychology, political science, international relations. So if you put in the extra work, you can get published, and all these students have this as the very first paper in their career, which is some of them were MPhils and some of them were PhD students. So I think it's a really good way to get published early. But to get there, you have to go through a lot of frustration. Okay, so in the last 4 years, the students had lots of challenges. Among them were the data were nowhere to be found, the original author never replied to any emails, the author did not remember where they had the data, the steps in the analysis were unclear from the paper, the methodology was not really clear. It was not clear how the variables were transformed, if they were logged or recoded, and sometimes even the statistical models were really unclear. So my students get very frustrated throughout the whole course, and we try with a lot of TAs and hands-on work, we try to kind of help them through it, okay? So why do students still sign up? One reason I already said, they can get published, some of them, not all of them. I also think they sign up because they want to learn stats. The feedback for the course has been really good, and I also teach some beginners classes where we have textbook examples, like these clean data sets where the test always works out. And the students in the replication workshop say, okay, I finally learned how to work with actual data, with all the bugs and complications and missing data and all that stuff that is really annoying. And they learn stats much better and much faster. And third, and that is a benefit that I think is most important, they create a reproducibility routine, which becomes automatic to them. So all my students have to, at some point in the class, cross-check each other's work. So they have to give each other the code and the data from their replication project, and then the other student has to replicate them. And they immediately see that variable is not actually described very well by my other colleague, or they didn't write the R code perfectly, like they didn't comment all the tables that they did. So they immediately see when they themselves don't work reproducibly, even though they think they did, because they learn it from me in the class. So we work on that a lot and try to establish a really good routine, a really good workflow for the students that they then hopefully take away to their own MPhil and PhD projects and embed in their kind of daily life as an academic. And that's where I would hope that the future generations of people who do replications in courses like that can kind of improve the overall situation in the social sciences. So to conclude, I think this university is already doing that, but I think more universities and maybe more departments should encourage the students, instead of working with textbook examples, to try a replication project. And it would be good to encourage instructors and give them some tips and help how to embed that in the classroom. And I want to end with 2 questions, but I'm not sure if we will have the time to discuss them fully. But I would like to know if anyone thinks this would be a suitable course in your field, because I know you are from all kinds of different fields, or if this would just not work in particular fields. And the other question is, do you think this might actually be a really bad idea? Because you might be creating a young group of error hunters who go out on a witch hunt to bring down big names in the field. Because I've heard that criticism before, and we need to take that seriously. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's get set up.